Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 15 brawlers that you should max out right now, especially in this season, whether it be ranked, whether it be ladder. So you're going to be safe as well by maxing out these brawlers, just because there won't be any balance changes until at least like 3 weeks until the next update. So yeah, you're pretty safe to go. Also, I've been playing a ton of ranked, as you guys know already, a few games away from pro already this season. Been watching a bunch of scrims, data, etc. So these are going to be the best brawlers, and most of them as well should be relevant in the next meta as well. I'm making a bold prediction. So let's start off with Alli. Alli is one of the most infuriating brawlers in ranked right now, in my opinion, just because if you get just a couple of good Alli matchups, or even one good Alli matchup, it just makes life hell for that person. So for example, you just go someone that can easily get 2 or 3 taps by an Alli, especially when she's jumping in the grass. Yeah, Alli's just going to have a field day. So I really love Alli, whether it be inside of gem grab. It's definitely going to be her best game mode. Any bushing map as well, whether it's center stage or sneaky fields, she's absolutely insane on. She's even good in highs. She can be used in bouncy as well. Any map with a little bit of grass where she can hop in and out easily, she's just going to dominate. There's not really a lot of Alli counters out there other than Frank and a few other tanky brawlers. So yeah, Alli has to be one of the most OP last picks in this season of ranked. Next brawler must max out for this season has to be Frank. So yes, I know it's a buffy brawler. I'd say that buffy brawlers aren't dominating quite like they did, especially when they were first released. You can't go a variety of brawlers in draft now, but Frank, it's still Frank at the end of the day. They really didn't do much in terms of the nerfs with him. And with Frank, he can actually counter a lot of the meta brawlers as well, as I've been discovering, specifically inside of ranked. So, you know, for example, you know, Frank is a great counter pick to brawlers like Lily or Alli or a few other assassins. He's also a great counter. Well, he's good at countering Alli because you can break open the grass as well. He's great at countering the likes of Rico as well, because again, you're opening up the map. There's just so many different ways you can play Frank. You can just literally play Frank just because he's got so much health, because of the sponge star power, and you can't forget his irresistible attraction gadget, which is of course one of the main reasons why he's so strong. So Frank, he's just a beautiful tank. Probably must max out for this season has to be Spike, so it should be zero surprises here. Spike is still absolutely insane. Again, the nerfs really did nothing to him. You saw him at tier list. He's S tier brawler right now, and Spike, he can pretty much go everywhere. I think even the pros are underestimate him a little bit because they're leaving him open thinking they can dodge curveball. Well, curveball still with the range is pretty obnoxious, but it's just its overall kit. Both gadgets are really strong. In particular, popping pincushion can delete any tank that goes his way. 5k instant damage is insane and you basically cannot miss it. His just pure damage is crazy. His hypercharge is crazy. He's super versatile. It's Spike with curveball. He already was crazy with versatility before, but even in bounty knockout, he's still a really strong pick. Yeah, it's Spike at the end of the day. His buffies are broken. Next probably must max out for this season has to be Lily. So Lily is always going to be good in the game, I believe, up until she receives buffies. And even when she gets like a rework to her gadget or her kit overall, I think it will probably just make it better. That's what buffies are basically doing right now. So it's literally a guarantee. Anyways, up until she gets the buffies, she'll be a meta brawler because of that vanished gadget. It is so incredibly unpredictable. Always been really broken, and that's the main reason why she's so good. But she's also one of the best brawlers inside of gem grab. She's great at countering those squishy brawlers, whether it be bounty or a few other situations. Again, if you think of any squishy brawler like a Rico, like a Cole, or a few other brawlers like that, you can always go a Lily into it. And whenever you're playing ranked as well, you always need one brawler that can get a lot of pressure. Well, Lily's just gonna cause so much havoc. You just never know where she is. So just because of that unpredictability, she's always going to be at least A tier in the meta. Next brawler must absolutely max out this season has to be Crow. So you should know by now how much I've been glazing Crow. He's got to be one of the brawlers that always go under the radar in terms of, you know, people talk about all of these other toxic brawlers. Yep, that's probably because they have an abundance of damage, whatever else. Well, Crow's like the opposite of that, but still equally as annoying for me because he's one of the tankiest assassins in the game, it feels like, considering he's got an anti-damage star power. He's got the gadget that can give him extra shield as well. And for Crow, you think of Crow, right? He used to be a really squishy brawler, but now he's just such a hard kill. And like I said, he's going to always keep you poisoned up. He's got a good hypercharge that can get a lot of damage inside of heists, and he's just very versatile. You can play Crow as a mid lane, everything about that. It just makes Crow such an annoying brawler. He's a great counter to a lot of the meta brawlers as well. I don't know, Crow's annoying and probably needs a nerf. Next brawler must max out has to be Shade. So there's like 3 brawlers in particular I look to ban as often as I can, especially when I'm playing gem grab or just a cheesy map. And Shade is another one of those brawlers because if, again, Shade gets one good matchup or it's the right map, there's no stopping a good Shade player. There really isn't. And I think for the majority of the players, yeah, Shade might be pretty easy to deal with because there is a bit of a skill ceiling to him because you've got to make sure that you're always weaving in and out of the walls so you're not actually getting hit. But again, if you put pro on a Shade on a good map, you'll just see how much work they do. Just watch any competitive gameplay, you'll realize how powerful Shade is. And that's just thanks because you can just cycle his super so frequently. His gadget allows you to gain additional supercharge with ease as well with that long attack. And his hype charge is very, very dominant. So yeah, Shade, it's got to be one of the hardest brawlers to counter as well, in my opinion, just because of his mechanic going through walls. He's an easy max out because he's just been forever at the top of the meta and competitive. Next brawler must max out for the season has to be Nani. So I've tried to take into consideration this 15 pool, like different game modes and whatever else. So I think Nani is one of the best brawlers inside of Bounty and Knockout. You can be pretty safe going those most of the time because the good Nani counters, I believe, aren't the most powerful, you know, like Jae Young or Max or a few other like aggressive brawlers. I don't think they're actually as strong into Nani as in previous metas, so you can be pretty safe just going Nani in hideout, in any open bounty map, knockout as well. I know Nani's super doesn't really confirm kills very often, but just the pure damage that you can put out with Nani is insane. And the reason why I use Nani is because Nani is the king of snipers, well, technically queen, but you know what I mean. You can you pretty much counter every single sniper in the game because of the pure damage, the outrange, and the return to sender gadget. And the super can pretty much, it doesn't kill a lot of snipers. If they don't use shield gear, it will, but it will make them very, very weak. So we know Nani is insane, and you've got to max her up. Rico's next on the list, and I'm so happy that I got this right with my predictions. I know I failed on the Lumi one, but with Rico, I just knew just literally an unload speed buff would be so incredibly toxic. Boy, the amount of damage that he puts out is absolutely crazy. Yes, there are ways to counter Rico. You know, he's on the brink of S tier, probably low S tier, high A tier. But for Rico, it just pure damage is just absolutely crazy. Pair that with a really strong hypercharge and still a gadget that can deal a lot of damage. But the problem with Rico is that you can't use him literally everywhere. But I even feel like with this unload speed buff, I've just been playing him in a lot of different situations where he probably wouldn't have been good in the past, and he's just working. So yeah, I think I'm very high on the Rico stocks right now. Just try him out. I think he's crazy. Poco's next on this list. So Poco, I think what the pros like about Poco is that he can counter so many different type of brawlers. The buff to his supercharge rate is obviously going to make him a much better brawler, but just overall his kit can be pretty toxic, especially if using it in the right matchup. And the thing about Poco is that with the healing, it's going to just make him and his team, of course, a lot more tanky if he's just constantly healing up his teammates, whether it's with his gadget, with his star power, or just purely the supercharge rate buff, which is the biggest reason why he's became really strong. The only problem with Poco though is if you draft it too early, there are counters to him, and if you don't pick him on the right map, then again there's some counters to him. So yeah, on the right map he's like easy S tier, so he's kind of floating in around the bottom of the S tier for that reason. But Poco is insane. You give him any type of brawler that can feed his super, he's just gonna have a field day on everyone. He's just gonna infinitely chain those supers, and it's gonna be really hard to take down a Poco. Mina's next on the list, and zero surprises here. I've always got to include Mina on this list because it just feels like, to me, I don't think they're really going to rework Mina's gadget anytime soon. It just feels like, I mean, we have Lily's Vanish gadget that's been broken for 2 years, right? So I don't think they're really going to touch Mina that much. I think Mina will forever be good as long as she has this gadget as well. The bubble gadget is the one I'm talking about, guys. It's only 2-second duration and it still feels absolutely broken. It's just because protecting yourself for 2 seconds from all incoming damage, if you just click at the right time, you have the right reaction time, it's not even that difficult. You can just waste so much opponent ammo, and then through their wasted ammo, you can then, you know, once the bubble expires, you can just destroy them and push forward. And with Mina, it's just the fact that she can create so much space on the map, but good players can just destroy and combo so many different brawlers. The only real counters to her really tanky options, but still they're going to be feeding her hypercharge. So yeah, Mina, I think you can play her literally everywhere. She's first pick on pretty much every single map and mode. She's still insane, and I think she'll still be insane even if she receives a couple of nerfs in next update. She's still going to be meta. Next up on the must max out list, we have Pierce. Should be zero surprises here. Pierce, he's so fierce, and he's been fierce since literally the first 30 minutes after trying him. Again, some people were a little bit, I don't know, not against Pierce, but weren't realizing his true potential. I literally said he was broken from the first day, and boy, people are finally realizing. So Pierce, the reason why he's so good, he has infinite ammo, and it just deals so much damage. You have infinite ammo. If you start chaining, it's really impossible to push into. He's got really annoying mechanics. You know, even that projectile that flies through a wall might not do a lot of damage, but it's just still chipping you down. His super goes through walls and deals a lot of damage. You can cycle through super easily because he's got unlimited ammo, and then he's got built-in slow with his last shot, and that slow deals extra damage as well. So it's like a double whammy. It's Pierce at the end of the day. He's a sniper, the range of Piper, which you can pretty much play him on every map and every situation. You can play him on really closed maps. I don't like Super Beach, like Triple Dribble. Like, imagine playing Piper there. That's kind of this similarity. It's just crazy. So Pierce, he's insane. It's probably must max out this season has to be Globber. So again, I'm wild on my predictions lately. And Globber, I think, is an S tier, bro. Again, some people are putting Globber in like the C or B tier for whatever reason. They're sleeping on him. They really are sleeping on Globber. I think he's insane. Once you learn how to use him, which I'll have a guide on him pretty soon, by the way, he is such a good asset for your team. So the way you want to use him is you're essentially like, not more defensive, but you want to be basically pocket healing your team as much as possible. You've always got to be managing like where your teammate is, trying to connect to them, and making sure that that connection isn't lost through a wall. And then you'll be leeching onto the opponent as much as possible. He's got two really strong gadgets, by the way. I like both of them. I tend to use the second gadget, which makes your beam much stronger, because that can really help you in the DPS department. You know, if like a Mortis or an Assassin runs you down, some of them you can actually beat in a 1 versus 1, because with his second star power as well, which gives you healing when you deal damage, it can really turn the fight into your favor. So you have extra beam strength for 4 seconds, however long it is. You're also healing while dealing damage, and then you've got a super that can push back assassins. You'd actually be very surprised by how many people I've killed in terms of like Mortises, Kenjis. I've actually been pretty decent into them, and you'd think assassins should be able to counter a support brawler. But yeah, Globber's heals are insane. I think his beam is just literally, if you lock on once, and I think his main attack isn't that hard to hit, if it's an open map, that person's pretty much dead. You just need a few good jukes and probably a second gadget, and you melt from. I didn't even speak about the first gadget as well. That's really good for getting pressure, for healing, and good for charging your super. It charges so much of your super. I can't wait for people to realize how strong Globber is. He's very toxic, guys. Just wait for it. Next brawler must absolutely max out right now has to be Otus. So Otus is still pretty much a solid high A tier meta brawler, and that is thanks to just the pure damage that he puts out. I think like 4-6 months time that Otus could drop down a little bit in the meta, mainly because it's kind of the trend of Otus. But at the same time, he's just so consistent at the moment. It's the fact with Otus, you can play him in so many different situations thanks to his pretty good range and his pure damage. You know, his gadget's good for scouting the grass. He's got a really good main attack that pairs well with vision gear, which can allow you to scout their bushes. And with Otus, he's one of the best shutdowns to any sort of aggression. His super, his hypercharge has always been really good at doing that. So just max him out. Next brawler must absolutely max out this season has to be Byron. So Byron, this is more of an under the radar pick in my opinion right now. You don't really see him absolutely everywhere, but I think with Byron, a good Byron player can always make such a good impact on the map. And it's the fact that, yeah, Byron, you kind of play a little bit similar to Globber, but with Byron, you can be so much more aggressive. There's so many moments where you could just still take over. You think of him, he should be a support brawler, but no, he can turn into an insane damage dealer. He gets super literally with 3 shots, which is crazy. His hype charge is still pretty decent. It's not the best thing about him. I just think he still just has a good amount of like healing. His booster gadget as well can deal a lot of damage and can help you charge through your supers a lot quicker. And it's Byron. He's very versatile. He's not really matchup dependent or composition dependent. There's not really a lot of counters to him out there. You can play him in bounty and knockout easily. You can play him in hot zone. You can play him in so many different situations. Yeah, I just love Byron. Moving on to the final brawler must max out for this season, it has to be Gray. So yeah, I need to be working on my Gray gameplay, guys. You probably know from the live streams, but Gray's still a fantastic brawler, and the pros are going a lot of Gray. He's really good in gem grab because you can link your teleport straight into the middle, and if you have like a Tara, an M, becomes a tank, specifically in like Gemfort and a few other maps. You can just create so much pressure. Hot zone, again, you do that same strategy. You get your hypercharge portal, and then you connect that to your normal portal, and it just teleports people from spawn directly into the hot zone. You know, you pair that with like a Draco or a Frank or a Hank or anything like that. It's very dangerous, and the only way to really stop it is like a loot, and even then it's really hard to stop, because if the enemy team just get a cycle going, they can just consistently get zone time. And then in knockout and bounty, he's really strong as well, so he's only not usable in heist. So great, is very dependable. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.